Alright, so today's little adventure. Today we're gonna try to lay this roof over, do a little bit of shingling. Thankfully we don't have to necessarily tear it off. We're just gonna lay straight over the top of it. Had the original 3-tab shingles on here. It was just a single layer, so we'll be able to just lay right over the top of it. Not a big deal. It's a fairly small roof. Hoping to have it done here fairly quick. I did the front half earlier this week. It's like 100 and shit, I don't know, it was 100 and some degrees out, 105 degrees, heat index in the middle of the day by the time I finally got up and going. But so I got that half done. Now we got the back half, and then kind of a little side pitch here too. There's no hips, no valleys. Makes it fairly easy, fairly straightforward. Just a nice, simple, easy roof. I think most people could do this one. It's got a few little cutouts to go around here. There's an old bracket over here. Take this old bracket off, and then get it sealed up. So go around the little pipe penetrations, the roof vents. Should be straightforward. Directions for everything is here on the back of the packaging. So, you know, if you have any questions, I always just refer back to them. I don't do a whole lot of roofing, but every once in a while I'll do them. We're doing these real nice GAF Timberline, the NS. Has kind of a black color to it, so that's what we're going with today. It's got a limited lifetime warranties to them, but we go over here. Every time I do any roofing, I don't like to have to carry them up, so I don't buy them from Lowe's or Home Depot. I find one of the roofing supply companies. You go find one of the roofing supply companies, pay the delivery charge, and let them deliver it on top of the roof. That way they can set them up here. Typically they just put them on the ridge. The other day when we were up here, we finished up, and we were right at the top of the ridge line. Needed to move them around, so we just kind of scattered them out across the roof, somewhat how we thought we would need them. Hopefully there's enough up here. I've got some more there on the other side. Hopefully I don't have to go buy any more. Should have enough though. But yeah, we're just gonna follow the instructions and kind of go from there. We're doing most of it's kind of a 5 nail pattern. I usually say it's somewhere between 4 to 6 nails. So that 5, make sure it's sealed down real well. Yeah. That first course, we'll go ahead and use the full piece, and then we'll cut off 6 inches, cut off 11 inches, cut off 17 inches as it goes up, and just kind of work from there. Yeah. Anyways, I've got my other camera set up. It's nice and safe over there, hanging off the electric mast. I'm sure that's probably one of the most dangerous places I could have put it, but I kind of forgot to bring any of the clamps with me. I wasn't really planning on doing a time lapse. Wasn't even really planning on doing a video. But here I am. We're doing it. We're going to try it out. Hopefully I don't get electrocuted and killed and knocked off. Hopefully the weather holds out. There's a little bit of rain on the radar, so I think it's going to stay north of me. So hopefully I don't have to worry too much about it and get this thing done. It feels great out here for an August day. Man, couldn't ask for a better morning. I wouldn't necessarily say it's cool, but it feels great out here. Got a little breeze blowing. The sun's not shining super heavy, so yeah. We'll get to going at it and see what we come up with. See you guys. All right, so take a little break here real quick from the roofing job. I forgot to bring one of my, I want to type kind of a 10 snip type of a shear to be able to cut those shingles to get up around the pipes and all. kind of got going, and then got up to a pipe, and then completely forgot that I'd meant to grab those from the house this morning. So Menards ain't very far from here. Run down there, try to find me some shears, and then we'll get back on the roof. Thankfully the clouds are still here, so yeah, keep going with it. So roofing isn't really one of my things. I've never done it for an actual career either. It's just one of those things that I kind of learned as a kid. My dad had a rental house whenever I was a kid. He had to put a roof on it one year, so him and one of his buddies came over to a little small rental house. It's about 800 square foot or so, so not a very big roof. Probably not much bigger than this one. Kind of same layout. So I kind of understood how to do it back then, you know, whenever I was probably, probably 8, 10, 12 years old, somewhere in there. Got to figuring it out. Back then we didn't have the pneumatic gun either, so everything was just hand nailing. I learned how to hold a roofing nail back then, you know. Turn your fingers upside down and set that nail in between there. That way every time you smash your fingers it doesn't hurt so bad. Nail after nail after nail. Actually got pretty good at it. Did it, and then a few years later, and kind of one of my best friends, his uncle was roofing a house and was needing some help, so my best friend and we went over and started roofing that house. Got okay at it, and then there was an old man in Seymour for a number of years, and I got to know him whenever I was a kid as well. I still wasn't even 16 yet. You know, I was probably 13, 14 years old. He was like, hey, my house needs a roof on it, or just kind of a back little porch there. And I don't know, it was probably 5 or 6 square of shingles to throw on there. It was all flat, kind of like today's job. Didn't have any penetrations to go around. I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. Apparently he had a little bit of faith in me. This was long before YouTube and being able to go figure anything out too. So went over there, took care of that one. Did it. Whenever I bought my house back in 05, the insurance company said I needed to have a new roof on it, otherwise they weren't going to insure it. There was a local business that had bought too many shingles whenever they redid their roof, and so the timing worked out, the color worked out. So I was able to buy those shingles really cheap, and I just had to go pick them up. I was a few squares short, so I had to go buy a few extra whenever I did my own roof. My roof was steep though. I didn't much care for having to do it, you know. So I did my roof, never had a problem out of it. Roofing's really not all that hard as long as you follow the directions, kind of understand where water is going to go, where it wants to go. It's going to seep in, or try to seep in, and so just trying to be smart and do it the right way. That's kind of the biggest takeaways for it. Take your time with it, try to have a little fun. It gets monotonous over time, but it can save you a ton of money too, you know. So I'm always about saving money. Shingles are expensive, but the labor of it seems to be where it really gets in there, especially if you have to tear it off and then relay. But it can be a lot of work. It can be easy, especially if you have a couple teenage boys or whatever in the house, or willing to be able to hire them, come help you. Pay them a little bit of money, you know. So I don't know. It's just something to do. Kind of passes the time. Something different for once. So I don't mind it too bad. I don't like it whenever it's 1,000 degrees outside, or whenever it's the temperature of the South Pole. But if you can find a happy medium in there, like today's pretty nice. Anyways, I'm gonna pull in here to Menards, grab these shears. We'll head back over there. So, all right, see you in a little bit. All right, so back in the car. We got our snips. I just got a pair of the aviation snips. I don't know, just kind of a generic brand out of Menards. I just went with the straight ones. We'll see how they do. In the past, I've used 10 snips or aviation snips in the past. They work all right. The ones I found that worked better were kind of the longer handled type 10 snips. They seem to cut a little easier. Doing a little science experiment in Menards. I took a picture of the shelf of the snips, put it in the old chat GPT, asked the AI of what was the best ones to use to do what it is that I'm trying to do, to cut the asphalt shingles around those vent pipes to make some of the circle type of a cut or a U type cut around those vent pipes. ChatGPT said the aviation snips were some of the best, or the better option anyways. There are some specific type cutters for shingles. These have a little bit of a serrated edge to them, so we'll give those a try. But yeah, I didn't need anything real expensive. I don't plan to roof another house anytime soon, so hopefully it'll get me through this job. Move on to the next thing. There was a 3 set of them, so you got a straight right hand cut and a left hand cut. That's the one it told me to get. They were like 14 bucks. I think I paid $6 or $7 for these. So pretty inexpensive tool to get around something a lot easier than having to try to use a utility knife to cut around them. I've used utility knives in the past and I have a tendency to slip and cut the shingle, so then you waste a shingle or a half a shingle. I don't like doing it. It just seems to take a little longer too. So got the snips, head back to the roof. Let's see if we can get another big chunk of this knocked out. I think I already got about a third of it knocked out until I ran into those little vents and the obstructions and needed to come get a tool. Took me about an hour on that first third, and I got several rows up because you got to cut so many of those edges. And I have a tendency to not set myself up real well to do repeated things. I have a tendency just to measure, then cut, and then measure the next one and cut. And like looking back at it, cutting off those edge pieces, she cut 6 inches off, 11 inches off, and I think 17 or whatever the package said there on the instructions. So yeah, you get those cut off, and then I've got the pattern from the cut piece. So I did a couple of rows and I was like, oh, you know what? I can just use those cut-off pieces as patterns, and then I can do several of them at a time. So then the next several rows, I think I cut 3 or 4 of each one of those sizes that I needed to get me up a little higher. Kind of set it more up like an assembly line. I don't know, I apparently just like to do things the hard way. So I see a lot of roofers too, you know, they just lay it over the edge and then come back and cut them off later. Usually just cut that whole strip at one time. That works out for a lot of people. I don't know, I guess it's just kind of whatever you get used to, whatever works for you. Yeah, anyways, we'll get back at it. See you guys. Yeah, so here's what I was talking about. Trying to get these shingles cut. You know, you stair step them up, cutting off a little bit as you go, which I can see I was trying to figure out why I had 2 more of the same size and only 1 of each of the others. But it looks like I went through, should be 6 off. 6, 9, 11 off, or whatever it was. Anyways, I put this one on a little too soon. I should have had one, you know, just a little bit of it off instead of that piece. So it's not a big deal. It'll just be a little different going on down. I think you just have to have at least a 6-inch overlap. So overall, not a huge issue. Just is what it is. But you can see like the cutoff pieces that I have laying around. Those are, if I would have just done it the first time, I could have just used all of those as the templates for this entire run coming up through here, right? And that's what I'm saying is I have a tendency to not set myself up to make things easy for myself, and I just try to make them a little bit harder for whatever reason. I think that's part of just not doing it every day or not doing it real consistently, but we'll get there. It's not a big deal. It just makes us a little bit slower than what it would the typical professional or the typical roofer that's out here every day doing it. You know, just is what it is. It's the little things that make those jobs quicker. It's the little mess ups and stuff that kind of slow us down or cost us more material. There's nothing here that's going to cost me any more material yet, so we're in good shape there. Alright, we'll get back to roofing. I got my tin snips here somewhere. I've left them all the way over there, so it's a good place for them, I guess. We'll get going and get cutting and get around these vents.